Adam. He's the only one that saw it. And it was number 2
I'll make it
on
quick.
his list. Tell us about Shelby Oaks.
It's time to get Stuckmanized. Shelby Oaks is the 2025 feature debut from popular YouTuber with over 2 million subscribers, Chris Stuckmann. And Chris Stuckmann obviously has influenced a lot of people to hop on their cameras and film themselves talking about their favorite movies. I'm sure some of us have watched several of his reviews from time to time, or at least know of him. I know that he was one that the first iteration of the Almost Sideways YouTube channel that was definitely a big influence. Like I can have really bad edited videos and stuff, but I at least put myself out there. So that was definitely kind of an influence. So when this movie was announced several years ago, I definitely wanted to kind of check it out. And I know this is one of the biggest Kickstarter campaigns that was out there. They were trying to get $250,000, but they made over $1 million in Kickstarter just to get the movie up, and then Neon picked it up. But anyway, Shelby Oaks, what's it about? Essentially, this movie is a film following a sister named Mia, played by Camille Sullivan, in a really great role that she does. But she is kind of doing it's like a documentary style in the vein of the Blair Witch Project. She's doing a sit-down interview trying to explain how her sister and her other 3 co-hosts of the Paranormal Paranoias, YouTube channel. They were a YouTube paranormal channel back in like 2008, and how they went missing while investigating the town of Shelby Oaks. And they never found the sister, but the 3 of them, other 3 were kind of brutally murdered at this stuff. And essentially, it's kind of has a, like I said, like a very Blair Witch style to it. It's a lot of some found footage stuff mixed in there, but also follows Mia as she's kind of doing this investigation 12 years after the disappearance. And eventually she's, does she try to find her sister, and what kind of things she kind of uncovers along the way. It was something I really didn't know going into too much about it. I just really drafted this movie specifically because it was the Chris Stuckmann movie, and it was finally coming out on the big screen. And of course, I wanted to support it. Did I draft it a little high at 2? That's not for me to say, but probably. Again, because this would have fallen. I don't think you guys would have drafted it, but at the same time, I was really excited for it. And so my wife and I went to see it, and my wife has no idea what this movie's about, other than it was the YouTuber that I used to watch quite a bit, his movie. And we were all by ourselves in the theater, and I think that made the environment actually even better, because it was actually pretty spooky at times. Do the characters Amia and Amia's husband make really stupid choices, and is it kind of stereotypical at times? Yes, absolutely. The cool thing about this movie, though, is he didn't just direct a really cool atmospheric movie, and he has a good way with tones, but he did write the screenplay as well. And while the screenplay might be the weakest part of the movie, because I think, like I said, like the characters do make some cliched stuff, and there's some stuff you can tell where he gets his inspiration from. Like I said, Blair Witch has some opening 20 minutes of it is like really kind of Blair Witchy, and then it kind of goes into some supernatural demonic beings and kind of some Rosemary's Baby type of stuff in there as well. I think it plays really well. I know this one is not getting the greatest of reviews, but I kind of turned all that off and kind of just wanted to enjoy the movie. And I feel like there's some promise with him as a director. I think him as maybe as a reviewer, he kind of sees what he's doing. And I think, he needs to kind of hone his craft on the writing. The direction and the atmospheric tones that he set up was pretty awesome. Investigating a creepy amusement park that's completely abandoned, was in a prison, kind of like Alcatraz type of areas are always creepy, and they're you're kind of picking stuff off in the background. It's like, do you see that over there? What's over here? And you don't know what's going to jump out on you. And I think that was what really built the tension. And the movie didn't really base a whole lot off of jump scares. I think this is a really solid watch. I'm giving it a solid 3 stars. I thought that Camille Sullivan gives one of my favorite lead performances of the year. I think she's really does a really good job. Her character makes some dumb choices. I feel like, why do you go out and investigate this stuff at night? I think that's kind of silly, but at the same time, you know what? She's trying to find her sister. That's the whole point of it. Keith David also pops up here too as Morton Jacobson. He's like a warden. He's awesome. He's just his one little scene, but he sets up this like really cool atmospheric like the setting up the prison. Like it's kind of like a Shawshank looking prison that kind of deteriorated over time because this inmate is there. Yeah, I'm kind of fascinated by this movie. I really want to kind of watch it again, but I really enjoyed Shelby Oaks. And again, if this is something a YouTuber can go out and make and have a really solid debut outing and having it on the big screen, that's promising, and that's pretty exciting for him and what he's able to do. So really cool. A lot of Christmas I hear too is the ending doesn't really work. I think the ending actually is pretty it works well. I think that's exactly, like, if you think about, like, went back and thought about it all night, and I was like, yeah, that ending actually makes it even more haunting, I think, too. So it's a pretty cool little demonic little feature. Shelby Oaks, 3 stars from Chris Stuckmann. So I was Stuckmannized.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's something with a non-traditional advertising strategy, and it's still, I mean, it's profitable. It made what, $4 million on that small budget. So I mean, that's pretty cool. It'll probably get an opportunity to make another one, even though this movie wasn't like the best received movie, I guess. I'm intrigued to watch it. I'm sure it'll have a life on whenever it's streaming, because that's where all of his fans are watching things online.
Like I think there's like you can see a lot of different other films that he's probably reviewed and stuff like that too. But like I said, I really wasn't kind of impressed by just the atmosphere, like, and having that theater by yourself. There was no one else talking, just me and my wife, and we're like, you could just she's grabbing my hand harder, and I'm like, okay, this, like, I feel like something's going to happen, and just that tension, like the natural tension that progresses as the movie goes along. I think that's very promising. So Shelby Oaks, a pretty solid little outing.